Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and the solo adventure, chapter 1 at least, of the Saviors of Uldum expansion is now out, so we're going to do that. We've got a nice big new button here. I felt like the Saviors of Uldum expansion, just as a little bit of setup, came way too quickly. The cards are fine, but certainly, like every other expansion, not really drastically changing the game. If anything, I would say there's a kind of a collection of some watered down cards that replace some more overpowered cards from classic or previous expansions. But yeah, there wasn't anything big there. And then we kind of went into silent mode. Like, look at this. Through special weekly tavern brawls and daily quests, they gave me 7 packs and 9 classic packs, 7 Uldum packs, just on my Americas account, which kind of relates down to, it feels, I know it's not true, but it feels like it's been at least 5 weeks since the expansions come out, so it's really weird. It feels really, really late. Like, I felt like Uldum came way too early, and that we really should probably only have at most 2 expansions in Hearthstone per year, and then this seems just so late. It's kind of ridiculously late to the party, it feels like.
Has unleashed the plagues of Uldum, and only we can stop him. Explorers to me.
So there's going to be some free packs we get in this solo expansion, and I imagine this solo expansion is not any real different than the Delarian Heist or Rastakan's Rumble. We haven't had anything that was significantly different since the Boomsday project, and before that we had the Witchwood and Kobolds and Catacombs, and which were pretty much the same. So, unless this is really, the Tombs of Terror really are different, it's just going to be kind of more of the same. Truth is,
I've collated eyewitness reports to triangulate the origin of the plagues. We'll tackle each one at its source.
So I don't know if this is going to be 5 weeks or 4 weeks at this point. Because the way this map looks, it could be that there's a 5th week under this. It says 05, so I guess if I just read, I would know that. Yep, so weekly chapters every Tuesday around noon, if I'm awake, is the schedule as far as doing this.
Missing for generations. Imagine the loot.
So yeah, I think you need to just, last time you just needed to play like 3, maybe 5 games, and then they gave you packs for that. You didn't even have to win. And it is worth mentioning that the last expansion, the Delarian Heist, Chapter 1, was particularly hard for me, and so I still haven't finished Chapter 1 on all 3 of my accounts. And I don't particularly care to. I guess we have plenty of gold here. If it's going to be 700 gold to unlock chapter 2, 3, 4, and 5, then I have 7, 14, 21, 3 weeks already, and by the time week 5 comes around, I'll probably have enough. Like, I'm not getting too concerned about that. So we're going to investigate the lost city of Tolvir and put a stop to the plague of Murlocs, twist Murlocs everywhere. Yeah, Hearthstone is just very long in the tooth at this point. So, like, getting more expansions, it feels a lot like if somebody announced that there was a new expansion for Magic the Gathering. In a sense, it'd be like, no duh, of course, there's a new expansion. Does that really bring in new players? No. Does that really make me want to go back and play Magic the Gathering? Me and personally, like, I played it during Ice Age and didn't really like the people I was playing with even then as a kid, so Like, there's really not a great way that they can bring me back in. So, alright. This, I guess we can just click on. You get 3 packs for reaching the 5th boss in this chapter, so you just have to get to the 5th pass. At some point, we're going to fight some titan with 300 health. That sounds like that could be a nightmare, but I assume that there's going to be some way around that. And they've, I guess, permanently now introduced anomaly mode, which I would have thought that would have been potentially replaced with something different. I don't feel like anomaly mode really does much for anybody other than streamers who would want to do this over and over again. Normal people aren't going to beat or unlock everything, then play the second time on anomaly mode. And anomaly mode, I don't think, I haven't seen it ever do anything to drastically improve your chances of winning.
We've all trained for this.
I'd kind of prefer just a
and flexible
easy mode.
Before.
So this time we're going to be limited down to just 2 people. So we can play as the mage rogue, or we can play as the paladin shaman. So then the question would be, do we want to play a Murloc deck that could benefit from any boss effects that would help Murlocs, or do we want to play Mage Rogue and try to compete against the Murlocs? I say we go with the Murloc deck. Oh, wait, can't do it. It's locked.
Hand me my hat, Finley. I'm going in.
So you've got no choice here. That's oddly depicted here. So this makes me feel like we're probably going to do the chapter 1, and then I'll make a quick break, and then we'll do chapter 2 today. We'll see how that works, but definitely you can see 4 people are all you're gonna get. So they're dividing 9 in 2, and they end up with 4. That leaves 1 hero class on the cutting room floor. Alright, so Reno Jackson is our only choice.
Sir Finley, hand me my whip. This is my chance to stock up on treasures.
This is new. So if we defeat 5 bosses, we would have a weapon. We could choose a weapon that steals a card from your opponent's hand, or defeat 50 Plague Lords, and we can have a spell that deals full damage and has a combo to shuffle a copy of this card into your deck that deals 2 more damage. This is kind of just an improved version of the Flame Torch. If we defeat 1 Plague Lord, we'll get a 4 mana, 5 attack, 5 health minion called the Junior Tomb Diver. Has a battle cry. If you've played 6 Secrets this game, your hero valor becomes Discover a Treasure, which probably wouldn't be terrible. Of course, these cards are not playable in any other part of the game, so these can be a little overpowered. In fact, these might be the one thing that makes it easier to finish the chapters in this expansion. Here we have a 2 mana, 2 attack, 6 health minion called Lay Flamepaw. After you cast a spell, cast it again on the same target. We've seen similar cards to this that aren't this cheap. And then we have a 5 mana spell called the Gatling Wand. Deal 3 damage split randomly among all enemies. Improves for each spell you've cast this game. That's pretty good too. And that's defeat 3 Plague Lords. So it seems weird. You're gonna unlock these, but then you have to defeat. We have to damage 50 Plague Lords. So I don't know how many Plague Lords we're gonna end up running into. Right now, all we can choose those. Renews Lucky Hat, give a minion +2/+2 and spell damage +2. This is only a slightly improved version of another hat magic spell that does a similar thing, but not as good.
Sweet new moves.
Yeah, I really don't know how much strategy is really needed in these things, as it often just comes down to luck. Of course, this is also practically the only time I play Hearthstone anymore where I'm just paying attention to Hearthstone and actually trying to win for what little that helps. So if we activate 30 combo effects, we would be able to use this hero spell that gives your next spell damage plus your next spell this turn has spell damage +2. And if we deal damage with spells 250 times, we could get this spell, which fires 2 missiles that deal 1 damage each. If any minion dies, it repeats. That could be useful in a lot of scenarios, but I could see it not being super useful in a lot of scenarios too. But not terrible. But all we can use right now is Amateur Mage to deal 1 damage, combo deal 2 instead. That's better than the default mage ability.
I'll scavenge more gear in the desert.
So usually, you just have to defeat a certain number of bosses to unlock characters. You don't have a special item. You do have a special ability. It seems like this single player expansion has added the special items, making this even more complicated, trying to push you, I suppose, to play this even more. I don't think this is gonna work though. And yeah, it's really too little too late, frankly. If all of these solo expansions had launched in the beta or day 1 of the official release of Hearthstone, you could have probably gotten a lot of people to do some of the single player expansion stuff in replacement of playing ranked ladder matchmaking standard play. But that wasn't the way they launched. So this game is now completely full of people who have been trained for over 5 years, I believe now, to focus all of their attention on some player versus player experience. They have been given very little to do a player versus event experience, which is what this is. So I have to play as Novice Spellslinger, which starts with Murlocs have invaded each deck, deal 2 damage, bunch of spells, cards, just some basic things. A card called Stolen Steel, I think that's new, not something you can normally play. And once we defeat the boss, we would then have a better starting deck, almost certainly, to pick from. And at the end here, if you defeat 24 bosses, you have a random deck. So there's really only 3 crafted decks and then random. So, which you could do random without having that built into the game, but whatever. And I'm not sure, I've never bothered to play any of the random decks, so I'm not sure if it randomizes at the beginning of a run or if it randomizes in between each playthrough. I would assume at the beginning of a run. We're going to start off with 15 health, and they try to speed this up a little bit, but it doesn't really help in the end. We're going to be fighting Lieutenant Herring, who has a hero power to give your Murlocs rush. Give his Murlocs rush. He has 10 health. Shouldn't be too hard, and that's probably way too much setup to just jump into the game.
Rydo versus Lieutenant Herring.
Evil, eh? I hate these guys.
Lieutenant Herring being a name of a fish, it doesn't make the most sense for a Murloc, effectively a amphibious frog, to... I wonder if we always start with our lucky hat, or if something else goes on.
Cast a spell. I want to cast a spell.
Alright, this will start pretty easily. I don't have Hearthstone deck tracker enabled. I could have had it on. I suppose it may have helped a little bit, but a lot of weirdness is going to happen anyway, so let's just play this the normal way. So do
Think
this,
of this like a magical mage hat.
and then
Power.
do this. Steal a card. I can now do 4 damage to an undamaged minion. And let's see, so if I do this, next turn I could combo and do 2. Do I have enough? I believe this is victory here, because this will do 3 damage, and nope, I'm short 1.
Spells are fun.
But
So
yeah,
fun.
not too hard. Maybe a little understanding required as far as how to use Razor Pedal. So I could win with the hero power, I could deal 1 damage with a spell. We don't have really anything else I think that needs to be done, so I'll use the hero power in case one of the challenges to unlock something was use hero power. Of course I didn't play perfectly there because I could have used Razor Pedal to then do a combo and do 2 damage with the hero power instead of 1.
Victory is mine! And so is this sweet, sweet loot. Ooh, what should I take?
Of course, you shouldn't have any challenge with the first boss in any run, and they've given us no indication how many bosses there are. So it could be that there is more than 8 or 9 bosses that we're taking on, which I think usually in these runs it's 8. Your opponent must pass their first 2 turns. Ooh, that's interesting. Your minions have +1/+1 health and taunt. Enemies have -1 attack. The setup of passing the first 2 turns is interesting, but it would really only work if we thought we were going to get an amazing strategy, which we're not. You just aren't in these kind of runs, and not without a lot of luck. Giving every Murloc +1 health and taunt is probably super useful, whereas weakening every minion isn't as useful.
I've been learning a few new tricks.
Of course,
Magic tricks.
some of that also ruins, like the Sorcerer's Apprentice now will have +1 health and taunt. So if I was ever going to try and hide that behind the taunt minion, I can't. Or if I was going to try and hide any of the other minions behind the taunt, I can't. The cards that summon... Let's see. Well, I don't think our options are great here. I don't think the combo option is very good. I don't think a weapon enchantment is super good unless there's... Well, if we're going to try and do like a 300 damage 300 damage at the end of the final boss, trying to enchant this up so it did even like 10 damage would be really difficult. So I'm gonna go with summoning frenzy, more minions.
Is it just me, or are these guys getting tougher the farther we go?
So now the next boss has 15 health, and I have 20 health. By the time you're at the 6th or 7th boss, you have less health, unless you get a card that will double your health or increase your health some other way. After you cast a spell, deal 2 damage, randomly split among all enemies. Passive ability. Okay. There's not a lot to take from the names or the descriptions. You just kind of want to know what their ability is, and that's it.
Versus Armavar.
There still is very much
Maybe I could
a lack of strategy
Come closer
in this.
to the fire, explorer.
Like, yeah, I don't think it's as wise as it seems like, or could be. Certainly, it doesn't feel like a real strategy game. And I don't know how you fix that, because I think I've heard on rare occasions, heard of somebody play somebody where they just build their deck building game in a row. So instead of shuffling a deck, you just know exactly what cards you're going to draw on every single turn. That probably would get annoying really fast, but in a solo adventure like this, that might make some sense. It might work and add a considerable amount of strategy here. But you can't build your starting deck in these solo adventures at all. You're limited to three starting decks once you unlock them, plus the random starting deck, and so all of your strategy falls out the window at that point.
We must band together, united for Dalaran.
So you're then limited to the small amount of modifications you can do to your deck by adding cards, which you're given a random selection of three groups of 3. Let's see. Right. So yeah, we'll see how that works.
Job's done.
Couldn't really do anything there. That's another great example of, like, there aren't enough cards in Hearthstone, and there never really have been enough to counter a secret. It almost breaks down to the point where if I was just allowed to play some kind of mini game whenever a secret was played, that would be super useful. Like, if I could use at the beginning of every game, if I could play a special card that says, for the rest of the game, whenever your opponent plays a secret, you will guess if it will. You will guess between 4 character class secrets to guess what it is, and if you guess right, it disables that secret, because then you would know what the trap is. If you guess wrong, it would do. I would have to assume some form of
science overwhelmed.
extra amount of damage. That's pretty much all it could do.
Job's done.
Yeah, that's something like that would probably balance secrets for the 2 hero classes that play secrets. Otherwise, you just kind of know that a hunter is always doing explosive trap and a few others. And because of everybody playing the top meta decks that they can play, there's never been enough secrets that it was fully randomized. Anyways, you kind of knew what you were doing. Alright. I want to do that. I don't even know if I have this. That was definitely not the kind of card I needed to play.
It's getting hot in here.
So, yeah. We have a decent chance here where we're gonna lose on the second run. And certainly I'm not satisfied with that outcome if that happens.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Alright, what can I play? I've got to kind of play this. Let's go and kill that. Attack that. And then attack that. And I guess we're safe. I guess we're moving forward. But boy, do I not feel very secure or safe in my next game. So we've done so little now. The question is, did I make a mistake? Well, I didn't make a mistake because there was no choice here. The only thing I could potentially do is, if I fail in this first run, then
We must band together, we must band together, united for Dalaran. We must band together, united for Dalaran.
My calculations are flawless.
there we go. Well, that worked. But ice block. So I probably have saved myself. I'm still probably fine, but if he can cast some kind of spell.
You cannot escape us.
What was that card that just played? Surprise Murlocs cast when drawn, summon a random Murloc amount of Murlocs. So the surprise Murlocs is not Murlocs actually in your deck, it's just a card that summons some random Murlocs. Alright, well.
We must band together, united for Dalaran. We must band together, united for Dalaran.
There we go. So we'll combo and then we'll use our hero ability and win. Well, I've got the beginning of a strategy going on. Can we expand on that strategy? Whenever your minions is attacked, summon a copy of it. That's a summoning spell. After your minion attacks a hero, deal 3 damage to all enemy minions. There's a couple secrets there, and a forced betrayal. Or we go with just spell damage in general. I think we go with this one, because that plays towards the strategy I'm playing right now. So this hero powers give a minion death rattle, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. That's not going to be great. He's now at 20 health and we're at 25. We're quickly accelerating the amount of health to the point where it's going to be a full-length game in each battle. So you really don't get an accelerated experience, and I feel like the
Evil, eh? I hate these guys.
one of the major problems, of which there's probably a lot, of Hearthstone is that there is a considerable lack of shorter, quick experiences that you can have with it. If you have only like 5 minutes, don't even bother launching Hearthstone, because there's very little you can do. And I guess you could play single player here and exit out at any point and it should save your game. I'm fairly certain it would, but I can't really think of anything else. There's a great example of where this character doesn't work. So like that spell card would have worked twice as well if this had just been on the field, and this couldn't have been on the field because it was drawn the first turn. As I get more cards in my deck, it will it'll become more useful. Alright. Let's discover a weapon. And this would do 6 damage, where this would do 10 damage. We'll just hold on to that weapon. Seems like we're unlikely to have weapons too often.
Get these off of me!
Minions in your hand have echo. Interesting. If I could play that on the 6th turn, that would be useful.
Nobody loots these ruins but me.
I have a pretty good defense here.
You all get curses!
With every single minion having taunt, that's helpful in part, but not as helpful as I would like it to be. Look at this. If I could put this on the field and then have Echo by the 7th turn, I could have a considerable decrease in the cost of spells.
It's so crazy. It just might work.
Or I could kind of just do nothing.
We must band together, united for Dalaran! What? Dead or alive?
Give my totems +2 attack. That's not gonna help any. So he's just gonna cast Curse of Weakness every turn. Making it close to impossible for my minions to be able to do anything.
Your moonlit shadows rise to meet you.
Okay. The problem with this is I don't have any real spells worth casting, and I would want like Archmage Antonidas if I could cast this multiple times and reduce the cost of spells. Okay. So, minions in your hand have Echo. We've got that. So if I played this, then I could play this a couple times.
You've been in tighter scrapes, Reno.
This,
Someday I'll be just like you!
and then this,
Someday I'll be just like you!
and then this. And then this.
Someday I'll be just like you!
And then I guess this.
Draw!
I'll kill that. Attack here. Attack here. And then end the turn. But I have like no spells to justify this. Alright, well we could do this. And then let's see, is there something I could kill on the field to make room, because that would be helpful. Yeah, because if I could get this on the field, that'd be slightly useful, but I guess whatever. We'll do that. Do that. And then do this, and then we'll go ahead and use our hero power, and then just win. So I'm playing more strategy than I really can. But okay, whatever. That still works. We still got a victory. See, discover a card and gain a mana crystal for each boss you've defeated this this run, which would be potentially useful in late game to gain on the first turn potentially 8 mana crystals, but if you grab this by the 10th turn it's totally useless, other than maybe it would discover 10 or 8 cards also. Let's see. Deal 7 damage to all enemies. Resurrect the first 4 friendly minions that died this game, give them reborn. I think this one is the craziest one, so I want to take this one. It may not be the best one. Meanwhile, my summoning strategy, I think, might be the best move. If not, then we could take some flame walkers. Yep. No, I think my summoning strategy still works.
A little inn. I can recruit some help here.
They've reskinned the Barkeep Bob to Bazaar Bob. Interesting. They changed that. It's been the same for probably the last 3 expansions. Of course, that's a real simple reskin. It's just one artistic project.
Is that
Shirley's
place to
Temple.
rest? I hope that's not a mirage.
Well, hello there. Happy to help you in these trying times.
So I could choose the enemy minion and add it to your adventure deck. So Kel'Thuzul sounds like a great one. I could do that. I could discover from a weapon from any class and add it to the adventure deck with +2/+2. Discover a spell and add it to your adventure book.
So crazy.
It's always in your
Just
starting
might
hand.
work.
Oh. Remove it from the adventure deck. I don't know if I have anything here that is completely a bad idea. So we'll start with Kel'Thuzul. He's an amazingly good card, in my opinion. And then the question is, do I want to start with a spell always, or do I want to discover a weapon or get rid of something? The only thing I could even think about getting rid of is this. And I don't think a small tweak like that really even matters. So let's discover spell.
You can catch a lot of good tips if you know who to listen to.
Alright. Put one of each secret from your deck into the battlefield. I don't think I have enough secrets for that, so I'll take that. It's not too bad. Could give it a spell damage, but there's really not reason to either, so I'll just do
Thanks for
that.
your patronage. It means a lot.
Our decks are up to 18 cards now, and we're on the 4th of 8 challenges. I now see that. This hero power adds a random lackey to his hand. He has 30 health. I have 30 health. So we're in the midpoint and we have an equal amount of health. But going forward, the 5th boss will have either 35 or 40 health, and I'll only have 30 unless I change something. Wonder if this is supposed to be like Rocket Raccoon or something.
Excuse me, you are not doing this.
Let's see. Yeah, let's just start with these. There's kind of no problem with just starting with Kel'Thuzul. What just happened? Murlocs have invaded the decks. Each deck.
Job done.
Surprise Murlocs. Twist Plague of Murlocs. So the Murlocs fill your deck with cards that say Surprise Murlocs. Interesting.
You've been in tighter scrapes, Rydo.
So I just start in a very good position.
Oh, I am not buying what this one is selling.
Okay.
We must stand
I
together,
have
united for
kill
Dalaran.
that. Attack there and there, and we're good.
Put this apple on your head.
I guess we play this and then attack here. Like, that seems like a pretty good strategy. Second turn and he's already down to 24. So now when this summons Murlocs, it'll summon double the amount of Murlocs. Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this so I can do this. And do that. End of the fourth turn, he's down to 14. I don't think this guy's strategy is going to work very well against me. We're doing alright. And then next turn I could play this if I wanted to, but it's not a great reason to. And you can see I really only had one opportunity so far to even play a Death Rattle minion. Okay. So we do this, and then this, and then this. That works pretty well. And then we can just continue to hit people in the face. He probably will kill this guy and a few other people, but not enough. Because I could probably just discover a weapon right now and use it.
I want you, lackey.
Alright. So play this. Do this. So we can see what the weapon would have been. I probably would have picked this one. And we can take the victory and move forward. So far we haven't run into any major struggles. But I imagine that's the normal. That's really to be expected. Like, it gets crazier later on. Let's see. But discover a secret, put it on the battlefield. Add a copy of each of your Battlecry minions to your hand. I don't have a lot of Battlecry minions. Frostbolt and spells. Yeah, I think Spell Sling probably the right move here. So, of those three options. Next, we're taking on the Sinkhole. As a 1-mana spell, shuffle a sand trap into your opponent's deck that swallows cards when drawn. Interesting. Best way to avoid a Sinkhole is to, too late. So this is one of the crazier bosses that I'm gonna have to figure out some strategy.
Save the treasure from sinking!
So now immediately I can discover 4 cards and gain 4 mana crystals on the first turn. Nothing else happened? Okay, so Let's see, what do we want to do? Something cheap as a death rattle. That says a million minion attacks, draw a hand. If this is the only minion on the battlefield, I gain +3/+3. I could do that actually. Let's see, destroy a minion, death rattle, resummon it. Interesting, when your hero takes damage, this one takes damage instead. We'll take that one. And then another death rattle, 1 mana. Alright, so I play this, and then play this.
Job's done.
And then that starts us down a path. So that just removes 2 cards off the top of my deck. Alright, well that sucks. Okay. Well, we start with 6, so I can destroy this and do 2 damage, and do that and do 6 damage. And it almost feels like he's barely gonna do anything else other than play sand traps. This is gonna be interesting. Alright. So, play another death rattle.
I'm warning you, I'm unstable.
And then play this.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Do that. Go ahead and play this for free. And go ahead and play this. And let's see, death rattle do 1 damage. Does this go up with the death rattle cards in general? It doesn't have to be death rattle minions. Ooh, I'll just take that. Yeah. And I believe there's a decent chance I play this next turn, I attack, then I attack with all of these people, and I've won. In fact, unless they do something crazy, I'm not sure that I haven't won anyways. Like there, that gets it to 18. That pumps up everything. That this would be a nice card to have in my deck at all times. Could cast a spell. Do I have any reason to cast a spell though? I don't think I do. So we're kind of powering through this. Not having a terrible problem with it so far. Again, to be expected, we don't start running into trouble until you're at the 7th or 8th boss, and that's when you usually run into the problem of, oh, you've spent an hour grinding to get to the 7th or 8th boss, and there's no way to retry if you die on some BS action, or start at the 7th or 8th boss the next time. Your minions have rush, interesting. Your minions cost 2 or less poisonous. Instead of your game, equip a random weapon and give it +1/+1. A considerable amount of my minions do have cost 2 or less. So giving them poisonous actually sounds intriguing, to say the least. Do we want to continue down the summon path, or the pirate's path, or the spells path? I think we have to go to summon path because the spells path is a little too random. It's just to discover spells, and this spell isn't that useful. And the pirate's path is probably not useful at all.
Aha! A little inn.
And
I
so
can recruit some help
now
here.
our second Bizarre Bob. If I get Kel'Thuzul on the field, and I have the other character that doubles the number of things that have been spelled, this
whole
one,
traveling
CAD,
merchant thing. You know,
CAD
it's
guard.
kind of quaint.
If I have both of those on the field at the same time, I could get some crazy amounts of summons. Alright, remove all cards from your adventure deck that cost 2 or less. Ooh, that would be insane. Choose a friendly minion, remove it from the adventure deck. Could probably get rid of that. Add all enemy minions to your adventure deck that cost 1 less. That's not a terrible idea. Like having this for 0.
Tighter scrapes, Reno.
Particularly that. So that's right. This is different. I don't think we started with 3 gold coins, gold pieces, previously in other adventure decks. Give a friendly minion +2/+2, and then start your increase. Yeah, I think
Been in tighter scrapes,
this is
Reno.
what you want to do. Is this, and then this,
Gotta stay healthy now. Food's not easy to find.
and then the question would be, do I want to get rid of this? I have 29 cards. It really doesn't make sense to lower the amount of cards because that's only going to, in the long run, potentially cause you major fatigue troubles. But it's also very possible that never becomes an issue. So next we have a hero power of, if there are 8 or more minions on the battlefield, destroy them all. I'm gonna have to be careful about that. They've thrown a boss here that's directly against what I'm trying to do, and he starts with 50 health and I start with 45. If I really am gonna fight a 300 health titan, it's gonna have to have some kind of trickery around it to make it easier than that. Doing 300 damage is not just something you can do.
And save the world.
Let's see. I'll definitely start with this, and we'll trade out that middle card. Alright. When one of your minions is attacked, summon a copy. Alright, so we start with this. If you control 3 of these at the end of your turn, deal 5 damage to a random enemy minion. That's not going to happen. Destroy an undamaged minion. Discover a spell. We'll take that. It's 50% chance to draw an extra card, which could fatigue them. Fall asleep, 50% chance. I don't want that.
You've been in tighter scrapes, Reno.
We'll take this weapon. Gain health when inspired. Whenever one of your other minions dies, summon a 2/2 ghoul. That's not too bad. So do I want this or this? Guess we'll take this. Can't attack unless it's the only minion on the battlefield. Destroy random secret. The thing with this would be that it won't be the only minion on the battlefield for long. Could play this. You could do that. Whenever a minion dies, gain +1 attack. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the best one. Alright. So, let's do that. And that.
Job's
And
done.
then end the turn. And it's going to use its hero power every time, even if it doesn't matter. Destroy a minion, summon 2 copies to replace the same minion. Okay, not ready yet to do that. Go ahead and attack there. What's this one? Whenever one of your minions is attacked, summon a copy. So probably will make a copy of this. Of course, I'm gonna have to struggle now to make sure that there isn't actually 8 minions on the field. Next, what are we on? We have a 9 damage to start with. Let's see. So if I did this, and then I'm just gonna cast this and destroy it and make some more copies. That's not too bad. Go ahead and use this. I guess I could have frozen the target. I don't know if that hurts. So I'm down to 6. So if my side of the field wants to be full, his side has to be empty. If he even gets a couple of people on the field. But frankly, that won't be too hard with so many of my minions having poison. Divine Shield, the Reborn. Alright. So we'll do that, and then that, and I guess we can just play that.
Dead or alive?
I don't have a full victory in this turn, but on turn 5, which is where we basically are. Well, maybe not. There goes all my names. Yeah, I think I can figure a way out of this though. Let's see. Let's see. Divine Spirit Reborn. One more turn. We've got this in the bag. Even if his ability did work, this would be reborn. So it wouldn't matter. Unless he can... Well, that saved him a little bit, but unless he can get rid of this guy or put a taunt minion on the field. Right. Yeah, just victory. So get rid of that, and do that, and then do that. Well, it's never the right time to get cocky, but unless the final boss is really, really difficult, which I think he might be, we've probably got this in the bag. I don't know if this is because I just lucked out, or if this first week is just in particular pretty easy. Let's see. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a random 2-cost minion. It's not terrible. Honestly, though, I think we're probably fine on minions, but I'll take Summoning Frenzy in anyway. So challenge 7 of 60, it's 60 health versus 50, that's still doable. Summon a 1/4 Servant with Taunt, Rush, Wind Fury, or Divine Shield, which is slightly different than the totems, which have Taunt, Heal 1 to all minions, spell damage +1, and an attack of 1 and a health of 1 with no special ability. But otherwise it's just a summon a totem ability otherwise.
Reno versus Siamot.
Okay.
How many wishes do I get?
You may choose the manner of your destruction.
So I'm just gonna re-roll everything because that 0 mana discover cards and get mana crystals are way more important than having that one spell that I've not used at all.
You cannot escape us.
Is this gonna do something different because we're getting special dialogue? Not having that extra boost at the beginning is gonna put us in a different position. Alright. If I play this and then attack with this, I think we're cool. Play this next turn, and then try and play this next turn.
We must band together, united
We'll just keep on playing the same strategy.
Spring thunder.
So do just 2 damage to it. There we go, that keeps it alive. Playing this right now doesn't help anything, so we'll just go ahead and do this. There we go.
You call that magic?
So that card worked relatively well. Not as well as I would have liked it to, but okay. Good enough. Do I want to summon 2 copies that cost the same amount? Because I could keep on doing that, but I don't think there's a need to. Just do that instead. Keep on playing. And then I can just poison this guy.
Still aid me.
Go ahead and cast that spell.
I've always wanted to say that. That minion already attacked.
Nice. Take that one out. Just play that.
Just like you.
Okay, we're doing alright, even without the booster. Of course, now if we got that booster and it gave us 7 extra mana crystals, I don't think that's going to be super useful. 7 extra cards, still kind of useful. But, yeah.
We are everywhere.
Okay. We'll just destroy that and summon 2 copies. And while we're at it, we'll destroy that and summon 2 copies. And we can play a little bit conservatively here and keep our Sorcerer's Apprentice alive.
Job's done.
Witness the power of pure water.
Yeah, he's really not doing anything. Not anything too special. We could try to build up our hand size. Suppose that's what we could do. Otherwise, I'm just gonna summon a random minion that's equal to 2, the cost of 2.
Just one more.
So this would be great to play with the card that would refresh our minions, I guess. Let's see. Distract summon 2 while we're at it. Oh, I guess I should have remembered that card existed, because that would have actually been helpful to remember existed. 4 attack this turn? Sure. So he's down to 14. I don't see any way I don't win this. Again, the spell card not super useful, but whatever. I could certainly play it. Let's see. Battle cry cards. Give me 2 battle cry cards. That would be it. Whereas if I play this, 50-50 shot of killing that. And then still trying to use our hero ability just in case that does something.
The sky beckons.
Alright, so now is either we get kicked in the gut and we have to fight a boss with 300 health, or we are just going to have to fight a regular boss that has maybe 80-90 health, and at this point it doesn't seem like it would be too difficult. Another map of Uldum would be discover a card and a mana crystal for each boss you've defeated. This was very useful, having 2 of them. Otherwise I could refresh my mana crystals and get a new hand this turn, or I could escape to the tavern and remove this from your adventure deck. Honestly, the Hearthstone is the best card, because you get this at the beginning of the game, and if things start going bad, you can just escape. I'd love to have 2 of these. Having this as a twin spell is not terrible either, but Hearthstone makes sense. So we now have 2 chances to potentially beat the final boss, assuming we don't really screw it up. The idea of having a Hearthstone as a card, though, being introduced 5 years in, really feels irritating, to say the least. Every single solo adventure up until this point could have handed us a Hearthstone at some point in every solo adventure mode. Then we would have had twice as many opportunities and a lot less grinding and frustration, which there's a lot of grinding and frustration certainly in playing Hearthstone sometimes. Let's see. Discover a spell. For each spell you cast this turn, add a random mage spell to your hand. Add a copy of each of your battlecry minions back to your hand. Discover a spell. I don't think any of these are particularly great, but we'll take this.
There, that's a plague lord, one of the sources of all this horror.
So, at the beginning they said defeat the plague lords. It was like defeat 15 plague lords. That would mean you would have to basically go through 15 chapters of a 5-chapter single player experience. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And then there was another item you unlocked if you defeated 250 damage. Okay, this doesn't seem too bad. The hero's passive ability is he's made of Murlocs. He is immune to damage. After a Murloc dies, he loses 3 health. So basically, I have to either I have to kill all 100 of his Murlocs. Well, kill 100 Murlocs on both sides, which might be a little difficult. I'm starting at 55. He's starting at 300. He's got to have some kind of cards that would summon more Murlocs, because if his deck has, let's say, just 30 cards and not 43 like me, well, that certainly wouldn't equal 100 Murlocs, would it? So yeah, I don't know what happens. It feels like there's a very distinct possibility where this guy would just run out of cards and then not take any damage because he's immune on fatigue, and then he could just stretch, like, he could just stretch things to the extreme and wait until I fatigue myself to death if he can't actually do any damage. So Hearthstone starts at the game. No problem there.
This thing's a giant! How can we hope to defeat it?
Stay focused. It can't regenerate. Do what damage you can and we will finish it off later.
See, that conversation makes me wonder if maybe you just are supposed to do a certain amount of damage but not all 300 and you still win. If that's the case, that's weird. There's kind of nothing here to do otherwise. So do I want to spell this? No, I'm just going to wait next turn. Okay, at the end of the turn, summon a 1/1 Murloc. That's not a bad. This is not a bad card to do that with. Alright. So
we must stand together, united for Dalaran.
And then this, and that'll do 3 damage to him.
And we keep coming.
Do that. You have to be very careful because this card is just always going to be playable.
The sum of our scales. You call only the weak. No matter, there are many more of us.
I feel like this guy is not going to shut up at any point. So yeah, I'm hoping. Alright, this is even better. Like now I'm in a really good position. Let's see. But I can't do anything with that, unfortunately. So I could have this on the field and then return it to my hand. Well, this isn't a battle cry, so I can't actually return it to my hand. So we've got to do this, and then this, and we'll just leave things as they are. Well, no, he may cast a spell, so we'll go ahead and kill that Murloc right now. that. That. And that. Kill that. We're slowly making progress. We've made 36 damage already, which is considerably more damage than we've really needed to do for most bosses. Yeah, that was my concern. He's got 31 cards, I've got 46 cards. Okay. I don't think we're ready to inspire. Spell damage. Well, Divine Shield's not bad. Add a random spell to each person's hand. We want to kill that for sure. Then we're going to go ahead and take out this. And then do that. Deal 1 damage to all minions is probably not a bad one to use. Yeah, I don't think we'll be using the Hearthstone.
To grind your bones.
That spell didn't work out very well for him. Try this.
Calculations are flawless.
That shouldn't be too bad. The danger here is definitely going to come into the point of, can he just overwhelm me with Murlocs before I can do a significant amount of damage to get rid of all these Murlocs. The answer to that may be yes, he can. Right. I gotta do this, and then what has the best health to just play as a taunt minion. This strategy is gonna constantly give him Murlocs and constantly give him random Murlocs that are strong and not just low level 1 mana Murlocs. You might be in trouble.
Let's get
that. And next thing we want to do is, I guess, kill one of these. Kill that. My health is low, and I have nothing that protects my health. And he's at just 219. His hand is full, so that card I don't think worked. Or maybe it did. I don't know if I have victory here. Unless we just get a lot of Murlocs. Alright. I need that. Deal 2 damage to 2 random minions.
Science overwhelming.
Deal 4 damage to 2 random minions. So let's go ahead and save ourselves some frustration on that. Play that.
Just like you.
That. Okay, I turned it around. I think maybe for a couple more turns, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know how I would be succeeding if it weren't for the fact that so many of these have poison.
Suitable champions.
Is he doing something different?
Stone will grind your bones.
Okay, he now has a different ability. Destroy friendly Murloc to summon a Scaly Golem. A Scaly Golem is a character with a death rattle too. That would, well,
We must band together, united.
you give all
for
Murlocs, all Murlocs, including the ones on my side, +1/+1. Interesting.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Alright, so how do we want to play this? I can only attack with Murlocs right now, or I can play this. And I think if I do that, and then do this. The power to rock. Alright. Or death rattle that gives you slimes. We'll take the power to rock. And inspire to give your minions +1/+1. Nice. So if your turn double its attack. One secret from each of from your deck. Maybe that would work to do something, but I bet not. Mirror Entity. Divine Shield's not bad. If this minion attacks a hero, add a copy. That won't do anything. Adjacent minions can't be targeted. Spell damage is the best option there. Ice block, nice. Alright. So, backup strategy. Mirror Entity. Not yet. That. And that. Okay. Now it just comes down to what I want to do. Kill that. That gives all Murlocs +1/+1, including my side. So then I killed that. Oh, he's not immune anymore. Sweet. So we can just now start working down his health. Well, if the game had explained this part,
Display of power is required.
yeah. So now we can do 200 damage potentially, just by actually hurting people. That would have affected my choices quite a bit. Rage spell you cast this turn, add a random mage spell. Well, I don't have any spells I cast this turn. But we could see what this does. And does that count? Does that give me spells? Gives me one spell. Alright, fine. I'm gonna play that way. So we've got a backup ice block, we've got a Hearthstone. We're playing extremely conservative, extremely careful here.
The tide marches on.
But I think we could probably do this. He's no longer taking 3 damage though, by the way. That's worth mentioning. Like, he's no longer taking 3 damage every time a Murloc dies. So I've lost that opportunity.
Life is an afterthought.
I lost the guy that would have beefed our characters up by 1/1 by being inspired. I guess if he runs out of cards though, then I'll be back in a good position. Alright. I can't play this without getting rid of something else. So we'll do this. This actually probably isn't a bad idea. So we'll take that. Kill his minion. And guess we'll just attack. And I guess we'll just save our mana.
From stone we rise.
It's still too early to get cocky because we really have no idea what could change. He could get a 3rd hero ability or even a 4th hero ability that changes everything on us once we get his health down to 150 or 100. Let's see, spell damage.
Here's a hot one. Catch.
So what does this one do, by the way? Whenever this attacks and kills a minion, summon 2 Murlocs from your deck. Do I really have a reason to do that? I can kill that easily. Do I really have a reason to try and get rid of anything else?
That minion already attacked.
No, I think we're good. We'll just leave it where it is. This will be a 3rd backup plan on top of Ice Black and the Hearthstone, is that if somehow he eliminates a significant amount of minions on my field, I'll start attacking with this to summon some more Murlocs. If there are Murlocs in my deck, which honestly there may not be any, so it may not matter. We lost our spell damage. Let's go ahead and play this. Deal 4 damage, draw a card. Just attack from this point. We're below 150, we're halfway there. And it's been over an hour and 15 minutes to do this. It's not super long, so at least this run wasn't, but it's still kind of long, particularly if you were going to lose right now. That would be really frustrating for people, and that's often the case of how it goes, is that I'll lose on the 7th or 8th boss. Which again, there's definitely still an opportunity here to lose. kill his minions. Yeah, we're still doing good. Just gotta keep on chugging along. We got plenty of cards. In fact, we're gonna start running out of space for cards, and he's had his handful for a very long time. Meanwhile, his hero ability is not really helping him as much as it's helping me, just because I have more locks at this point. There's a danger.
We will crush you.
What do I do with all these cards?
Okay. I'm gonna hit that. That summoned 2 minions, so now I know I don't have 2 minions. Do I need to give a friendly minion Murloc? Let's see, Divine Shield Charge.
Don't worry, loves. The cavalry's here.
Destroy 1 enemy minion at random. Yeah. Hero power also freezes. Minions that summon double.
You've been in tighter scrapes, Rydo.
We just need to figure out what I want to get rid of. I guess that's what we'll get rid of. I'll buff that up.
We will assimilate that one.
And that one. Cancel a card. Yeah, sure. Counter spell is probably not a terrible move. Be careful and get rid of some of this. That's not a bad one to kill. That's not a bad one to kill. Yeah, as I invest more and more time in this game, I don't want it to go wrong. So I suppose if he had no Murlocs at the end of each turn, he wouldn't be able to summon the Scaly Golem. I don't know if that really does anything though that would be too big of a problem. Okay. This I think I want on the field.
United for Dalaran.
And where are we? We'll just do that. I'll buff up everything. Let's see. Do I have anything else I need to get rid of? It doesn't really... That doesn't need to exist anymore. Because we're not trying to get more Murlocs on the field. So we'll do 11. And that'll get it at exactly 100.
We will crush yours.
Let's see. Just continuously put things on the field, I guess. Yeah, we're still doing alright. There's his counter spell, and a great 10 mana spell to counter spell. Okay, we're good. I mean, There's literally nothing else that you can do here. You just have to hit the face. Oh, what is this though? He's got a shuffle all minions into your deck. After a Murloc dies, reduces cost by 1. So he now has a third hero ability called Murnado, and he's gonna steal all my minions. That's not good. The good news is, I guess, if I don't focus on killing any Murlocs, he won't be able to cast a spell for a while. But not that long, clearly.
Cannot escape us.
Ah, Kelf is old. Definitely not a card I want in the hands of my opponent. Yeah, there's nothing else I can do here. Yeah. 47 to 28. Is deciding to reduce the cost. But by reducing the cost, he's reducing the amount of minions that would be on his side anyways.
Is that a Murloc NATO? That is the scariest thing I have ever seen.
A storm of scales. We will tear you apart.
Okay. We could play this, and we could play this. But we couldn't play something like this, and then... I don't know. Like, he's got nothing but Murloc, so playing that doesn't help anything. Right. So, I think we have to do this. And then this. And then... let's see. This is probably like the worst one.
Nobody loots these ruins but me.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the right move, but that may have been the best I could do. See, the danger here is in this next turn, they might very well be able to take me down by 21 health. And as the Murlocs keep on dying, the Murloc NATO continues to make sense and work for him. Okay. This. This. Kill that. In the turn. Of course, he could probably cast this spell. But instead he chose to go with getting rid of Kel'Thuzad, so I guess thank goodness for small favors.
Wind and claw, we shall grind you to bits.
He's got 39 cards, by the way, and I have 12, so... not in a great position. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And he'll start at 17 again. I wonder if this is getting more expensive every time he uses it, or if it's just staying at the same level. Yeah, I've had to take a break from doing damage to the hero in the past couple of turns, so he's definitely slowed down my momentum. Okay, what if we were to play this?
Cast a spell. I want to cast a spell.
That.
Monsters behind you!
And then get rid of this. So if this guy dies, he'll summon a 1/1 copy of either this or this card. That's a 50-50 shot of something either really good or terrible. So next turn, I will try and kill this guy first and then play this. Alright, so...
Spells are fun. So fun.
Twin spell, destroy a minion, summon 2 copies of the same cost.
Backstab!
So do I want to self-kill this guy, or do I want to destroy and summon 2 copies? This summons a 1/1 copy of the minion from your hand, but what would the cost be on that 1/1 minion? Still 1, I would assume, so I think this is the right move. We'll find out, I guess, later.
Backstab!
I have 9 cards left. I'm kind of struggling here. He's not going to fatigue. Like, he is going to get lucky if things don't go the way I think they go, or the way I'm hoping they go. Or maybe I'll get lucky.
Of scales.
Or maybe I won't get lucky.
Tear you apart.
Draw 3 cards, gain 10 armor. It's getting ridiculous. Surprise Murloc, surprise Murloc, surprise Murlocs. I can't do anything at all. Deal 3 damage to an enemy minion and freeze it. Yeah. And now it's 18, so the Murnado is getting more expensive.
I'm out!
For each spell I've cast this turn, I can add some mage spells to my hand. Okay.
There are approximately 3,482 of us, if you were wondering.
Kill that. And then play this.
Calculations are flawless.
Then do that. Might as well attack. If Ice Block gets activated, I have to use the Hearthstone. We may have to just use the Hearthstone. I know we're rather close, but we're not really close enough. This is gonna go really, really badly. I need to be careful. How's this gonna work?
We must band together, united for Dalaran!
Seven.
Trivial.
Arise, my champions.
I may have it. I may have it here. But he can also just do Hurricane Murloc NATO and potentially destroy everything.
Powers are unbound. Your end is nigh.
2 fatigue. He'll be at 19 for the Murloc NATO. Let's see. A random minion may be the next thing I can play because that's really all I can do. If this minion dies, I've got nothing. Absolutely nothing. I need him to be able to survive long enough to do 3 attacks to the enemy, or we can duplicate him, and I guess that's what we'll need to do. 3 damage, 4 damage. So next time will be 5 damage, which means if I can't really win this turn, I've probably lost. That's not too bad. And this would bring him back because he has Reborn on him, right? Or would it not? It probably wouldn't. So
We will consume all that lives.
So do I want a random minion to my hand? So here's the problem. When your hero takes fatal damage prevented and become immune, Does that include fatigue, or am I gonna just lose here? Frankly, if I lose here, I think it's a perfect opportunity to kind of play it up and do a rage quit, because like, so I've got to win this turn. I've lost. I've lost, and I can't play the Hearthstone. I've lost. Oh my goodness, I've lost. Because he's gonna end his turn, and then I'm gonna draw fatigue, and then I'm gonna lose. We had the Hearthstone, we had Ice Block, we had at times a third backup hero strategy, and still it wasn't good enough. It still wasn't good enough.
If we damage the Plague Lord a little every time, we will eventually triumph.
So we activated 30 combos, so now we could use the hero power to make your spell damage do +2. In the strategy I was using, that may have helped only a little bit. We dealt 50 damage, which gives us the item of the Reno's Magic Torch, which is not a terrible card. Better than the hat. We also have unlocked Reno's Crafty Lasso because we defeated 5 bosses. After your hero attacks, steal a card from your opponent's hand. That may have been useful. And let's go back here. We did what needed to be done, and his health is down to 16. So if I wanted to spend another hour plus, or actually it looks like it's closer to 2 hours of gameplay doing this, I would win. Like, I totally would win. There's no way I wouldn't do 16 damage in the first phase, unless it skips the first phase, which would be interesting. And goes directly to like the Murloc NATO. Even if it went to the Murloc NATO, doing 16 damage is super easy. The only thing we'd run into trouble with is actually making it to the 8th turn. So they did make it easier, and this is a new idea by far. Like, I have not seen this happen before, where you have a kind of world boss equivalent that has health that you wear down slower and slower. That feels like directly from World of Warcraft, and while the characters and the storyline is all from World of Warcraft and Hearthstone, a lot of the gameplay doesn't directly equate in my mind, but then again, I didn't play World of Warcraft. So if we were to, what do we need to do? Is defeat 1 Plague Lord. So it seems like either I will unlock these, or well, defeating 3 Plague Lords doesn't seem like that's too difficult. So if I was to take this weapon, and then I could take this, although in all honesty, well, I guess since this is a 0 mana hero ability, that's fine. We didn't defeat enough bosses to change our starting deck, so yeah, that's really where it all would line up. And yeah, we just would have to start over again, but we know the boss is easier. So they really did address a big issue with the previous things. If I come over here to the Delarian Heist, let's see, I'm in the middle of a battle still, I imagine, to try and defeat the second chapter. Let's see, let's go in heroic mode and see. I've never even been in here because I didn't care. Yeah, For my main US account, but oddly my European account, I actually did get the second chapter defeated. But for my main US account, I have not defeated chapter 2 of the Delirian heist, and it would have been really a lot more helpful if it played like the Tombs of Terror. When it comes down to heroic modes, though, I haven't done any of the solo heroic stuff. It is also worth mentioning that, like, Nexramus, Blackrock, and Karazhan, I don't think you can even get those anymore. I've queued up a bunch of dialogue. Maybe you can get Kobolds and Catacombs and Witchwood and Boomsday Project, but I wouldn't be surprised even if Witchwood is close to being removed. Meanwhile, over here, back to Tombs of Terror, let's leave. Well, we can't leave. Interesting. So let's do something stupid here, real quick, and just concede, and see what we can get to. If we can do chapter 2.
Never give up. Run away.
So can we play and unlock this? Yes, we can. We can do it right now. So I'm gonna do a bit of a teaser. Subscribe to my channel, and we'll find a point when we get a daily quest, almost certainly, in which we have to play this. And at that point, in the next 4 or 5 weeks, I imagine we'll get a daily quest that tells us specifically we need to come back and play this, and I'll come back and play this and win. Otherwise, let's break up this recording here, and I'll do chapter 2 for the live audience in a second. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos, because all those things are what YouTube wants me to ask people to do. I hate to do it. I put it at the end. I try not to irritate people. I try to jump into the game as quick as possible, because that's exactly what I would want when I'm watching a YouTube video. On the other hand, I also get very few people who actually subscribe to my channel, so I'm getting the number of subscribers based on the amount of effort I put into it, or the amount of shilling I put into it. Otherwise, click the notification bell, and then click under the options if you want to get notifications. Frankly, if you want to back up for notifications, because you still won't get 100% of all the notifications, there are some social media sites listed in the description to follow me on that. And then if you want to support me, which would be greatly appreciated, there's 2 ways to do it. You can either support me directly monthly through Patreon, or you can give a one-time donation by simply friending me on Steam and gifting me either a gift card or a game off my wishlist, or just a game you'd like to see me cover. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening. Hey everybody, this is Rydo. The solo adventure, single adventure for Saviors of Uldum, Tombs of Terror is unlocked, and this is the first week, so we can get chapter 1 for free, and then we have to purchase chapter 2. So they did a rather surprising thing here, where the final boss has 300 health points in chapter 1, but when you lower down its health, it doesn't start with 300 the second run. It's whatever's left. So after nearly 2 hours of doing a run, I got it down from 300 to 16 in one run, but then I would have to spend 2 hours to grind up just to get to the final boss, because there's no way to really skip to the end and just fight him a second time. And what's particularly frustrating about that is I had Ice Block as a backup so I wouldn't die. It didn't work. And I had the Hearthstone, which is probably one of the best cards in the entire game, but you can't play it except for in solo adventure, where I could have just escaped that battle and restarted and had a second chance. I couldn't play that in time either. So now I face 2 hours of a slightly frustrating grinding experience to finish chapter 1, but I want to just move on to chapter 2. By the time the 4 or 5 weeks it takes to unlock everything, it's probably going to be 4 weeks if you're getting 2 chapters to begin with, and we know there's 5 chapters in total. It's going to ask me to unlock this. Now you could unlock the full adventure for $14.99, which is way too much money to spend on Hearthstone. Frankly, don't think I've ever spent more than like $20 in over 5 years in Hearthstone, and even at that, that may not have been worth it. For the frustrating experience that you often get for the fact that you'll never be the pay-to-win victor unless you really are a millionaire, you're better off just buying it with the 700 gold, which I think actually probably equates to less money than $6.99 in real world experience money. We've been saving up gold, so we should have enough by the time the 4th week runs around to purchase all of this. So now chapter 2 is unlocked, and this chapter 5 is almost certainly in the middle.
Everyone who ventures across this desert has gone mad. I think it might be the source of the second plague.
Each of these bosses are plague characters. That being said, the requirement to unlock some of the new items that have been introduced into the solo experience, which we will see in a second, require you to defeat a lot more than 5 plague bosses, unless maybe the requirements are universal amongst different heroes. So to get this, we need to just defeat the 5th boss. That shouldn't be too bad. We're crossing the perilous deserts of Uldum, fight back the madness at every turn. Again, another plague character at 300. Once we've beaten it, once we could play in anomaly mode. It doesn't seem like anomaly mode's gonna do anything different. The twist in this one, the twist in the last one was Murlocs everywhere. The twist in this one is end of turn attacks, which I assume means that the heroes the minions on the field will just attack random people at the end of the turn. Last time we played a mage rogue combination with Reno Jackson. This time we're going to play a paladin shaman combination with Sir Finley.
Plagues notwithstanding.
And week 2 gives us a 3rd hero, week 3 gives us a 4th hero, and that's going to be it. Maybe at the very end we get a secret 5th hero, because there are 9 hero classes, and dividing 9 by 2 you get 4.5, so unless one of these heroes is 3 hero classes together, which might make sense, there's going to be a hero class left on the grinding room, on the cutting room floor. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Warrior. Warrior's one of the worst ones for me.
Perhaps I shall build up my trophy collection while out and about.
So we have to play with this to start with. 2 mana spell, give all friendly minions +2 health, shuffle this card into your deck. so just increase a buff in health. Once we've defeated 5 boss, we could instead pick this 3 mana, 3 attack, 5 health beast minion that has Russian Reborn, has +2 attack for each other minion on the battlefield. Not terrible. That would be maybe a 15 attack, because if there was 6 other minions, no wait, not, it's minions on the battlefield, not just on your side, so that would be almost a 29 attack if my math is right. 7 on one side plus 6 on the other side would be 13. 13 times 2 would be 26. 26 plus 3 is 29. Yeah. So if the board is completely full, this has Russian Reborn and does 29 attack. Still might not be that useful though, with only 5 health. If we damage the Plague Lords 50 times, we would unlock this 3 mana, 5 attack, 1 durability weapon. Lifesteal also has overload. After you overload, gain 2 durability. Okay, that could work. But what this proves more than anything is that I definitely have done more than 50 damage to Plague Lords cumulatively amongst different heroes. So if this isn't already unlocked for that reason, then that is saying, or heavily implying at least, that each of the hero classes wants you to beat the Plague Lords 3 times, which means for the 4 characters you would have to beat 12 Plague Lords, when to just do all of the story you would only have to have beaten 5 Plague Lords, unless there are more Plague Lords other than the final boss. So that's a lot of extra gameplay for no reason, just trying to get you to play the single player experience, and I don't know if there's a really good reason for that. I've been playing a lot of games lately, Torchlight in particular, which is a 10-year-old game, Diablo-esque clone, and there's a lot of extra gameplay and grinding that makes sense when Diablo came out in the mid-80s, I believe is when Diablo 1 came out, but it doesn't really make sense in 2019 to try and force a person to play the game more than is actually enjoyable. We are now living in a world where there's a lot of free games, there's a lot of mobile games, there's a lot of streaming TV, there's a lot of movies, there's so much competition for entertainment that you don't have to do the old Windows PC gaming thing where you gave 60 to 300 hours of grinding to somebody just for the fun of it. This is kind of the problem with World of Warcraft Classic, in my opinion, too, is that when you actually go back to it, it's like, oh yeah, there's just a ton of boring, bad grind in this game that could have been ignored or removed, and they could just have a better accelerated experience. Even in movies, a lot of times, like, it feels like you could have had a tight 90-minute movie, instead you made it a 2-hour and 30-minute movie for no reason. Anyways, we defeat 1 Plague Lord, we get Junior Scout, who has Charge and Wind Fury, and at the end of your turn it deals 4 damage to a random enemy minion, which seems like this would synchronize with the second week Plague Lord kind of well. 3 mana for a 4/4 is not bad in general. If we defeat 2 Plague Lords, we would have a 5 mana 6/6 that has a battle cry to summon 6 1/1 Silverhand recruits and give them all Taunt and Divine Shield, which is not a bad card at all. That's rather nice. Unfortunately, these are not cards that you're ever going to get to play in regular Hearthstone, just in this single player experience that, like all single player experiences, can kind of easily and quickly be forgotten because they don't really connect or in any way help you playing the standard ranked gameplay. Whether you're actually playing in Standard or Wild or playing ranked or unranked. It would be nice if these single player experiences could let you grind out some dust. Like, defeating 1 boss gave you 1 piece of dust even would be nice, or just a little bit of gold. I'm not even sure you work towards the very basic goal of 3 victories equals 10 gold when playing a single player experience. And at the end of the day, as Activision Blizzard is falling apart, in my opinion, the legacy of Hearthstone, I think, will more and more be the single player experiences, which have not been the main focus at all, because we'll find fewer and fewer people playing Hearthstone that aren't so far ahead. Even now, you find most players are so far ahead, they have so many cards, and they are so much better than a new player, that a new player clearly is going to have a terrible experience. This is also the problem with Magic the Gathering, is decades of people playing that game. You can't really get into it and just have a fun time most of the time, because you're going to get your butt handed to you. Anyways, this is a 4-mana spell, Scales of Justice. Transfer all minions into 1/1 Murlocs. Fill your hand with random Murlocs that cost 0. This would be interesting because it would ruin your opponent's deck, whatever strategy they're playing. It would also ruin your deck and your strategy too, but it's not a terrible thought. But yeah, we have to play with this. These are the item things that are new.
A Murloc armed with panache.
So when we summon 1 health minions 50 times, we could use Bubble Blower, which would be Discover a Shaman or Paladin minion with Battlecry Overload once. If we overload mana crystals 50 times, we get a hero power to give a minion Divine Shield and Wind Fury, which is not bad at all. But we're starting with new recruits, which is 2 mana hero ability to summon a 2/1 Amalgamum Explorer, which I assume
I shall
is
vary my tactics as I learn more about our foe.
I assume an Amalgamum Explorer has the same effects as a regular Amalgamum, which means it is treated as every kind of hero minion class. So treated as a Murloc, a Beast, Elemental. But we are getting to the point, because now that we have 3 things you pick before you even start playing, that there's clearly 3 tiers here in which you're going to have to grind and skill up. Defeat 8 bosses so we could play this starting deck of looks like mostly Overload cards. Defeat 16 bosses so that we could play this deck, which seems to be more elemental magic things. And then if we defeat 24 bosses, we'll unlock the random deck, which is just random cards. This is the twist card, this is the starting hero. But otherwise, to start off with, everybody has to start here with this Murloc deck. Yeah, that's all it is. This is a very simplistic Murloc deck, and we're gonna have to build on that to try and succeed.
Right then, we shall fight our way to those dastardly plague lords.
So we start with 15 health, he starts with 10. He's gonna have a hero power to restore 2 health to all Murlocs. That won't really affect too much. Let's hop into the game. We've done a lot of setup here and a lot of talking for the second chapter, just because they did change some things, and there are some things here that's making it more complicated than it probably should be, particularly up front. My guess is the thing I guess I would say here more than anything is that it might be just in part a process of them not really doing a good job of making a good minion.
I shall go mad with thirst.
Hang in there, little buddy. Don't go mad until we find the Plague Lord of Madness.
So I guess maybe somebody else would be talking if I was playing as Reno Jackson there. It's kind of surprising that they would use Reno Jackson since he's one of the selectable characters. But who knows how that would really break down. Let's see how this works. Start with. Yep, it's an amalgam. It's an elemental, mech, demon, murloc, dragon, beast, pirate, and totem. Or just labeled as all in the bottom, which I think that might be new. I don't know if that's always been the case. We are getting the random attacks at the end of the turn. This and this.
Reporting for duty.
Job's done.
And then return. Doesn't seem like everything randomly attacks or anything with any consistency randomly attacks. So that's gonna be weird. Yeah. If they had just at the beginning shown one screen where it's like, pick your starting item, pick your starting deck, pick your hero, pick your ability, instead of having me go through 4 or 5 clicks to get to that point. I think there might have been more of a better experience there. Let's see. Yeah, let's play a little carefully here. Like, I could just have attacked the face, but I don't want him to be able to do a couple extra attacks and do some major damage to me. Yeah, see, that was very close to me losing had he played that and had he had more minions on the field. I think I've also lost. I kind of have to play this. And I kind of have to play that. It's awkward here. I'm having to play and pay attention and actually use strategy on the first boss. Certainly this has happened before, where there have been situations where I'm potentially losing on the first boss. I only have like 2 cards, so. It's ridiculous. Let's try that again, I guess. So, just gotta start over. So, here's my thing. Like, you start here on chapter 2. Well, we could go back to the very beginning. You start here on this screen. You select this. That seems reasonable. It does an animation here that wastes your time. That's a little unreasonable. You go here to chapter 2. There's kind of no reason to be on this page in general, other than it's toggle amalgam mode to tell you the amount of health and tell you that you haven't won the prize. All of that bits of information could just be a top bar at the top or slightly at the side. These 3 things don't need to take up an entire screen. Next you have select your hero. That could easily be a line called a shelf, basically, like a bookshelf, where it's just like, here's your heroes, click a arrow on the side to scroll left and right if you can't have all the heroes in one row. There's nothing else to click here other than to choose the heroes. Now, sure, if you're playing this on a smartphone, maybe it makes more sense to have a giant grid. You're getting bits of information, certainly, but you could have integrated at least the last 2 screens. Then you get to this point,
Adventuring can be quite lucrative.
which this is either the 3rd or 4th click at this point. Again, it could just have been a secondary shelf. So you collected the hero, then it unlocks or ungrays out the secondary shelf and shows you the items. Again, no big need for that. Then you have your starting thing, so another click here for your starting hero power, which could have been another shelf. And then you have your decks here, which could have been another shelf. You could easily have integrated all the decisions to get to this point, at the very least, in one screen instead of 5. It's just bad user interface, which Hearthstone has a decent problem with user interface. It's trying to feel like a video game when it could be improved quite a bit. If somebody who has ever made a productivity software just even consulted with them for a while, I think there's ways to improve it here.
Stand aside, fiend.
And I guess that is also a complaint.
Save the world.
My beetles ain't a fan of trespassers. I ain't either.
We have a different boss here, which is evidence that you get random bosses, except for the final one. Yeah, I think that's a complaint about World of Warcraft too. Although, as I understand it, as I hear it, the people who are using mods right now to play World of Warcraft Classic that gives you overlay and improves the user interface are now getting banned for cheating, which is a strangely strict definition of the word cheating.
Why adventurers always come.
This is a hero power to summon a plated beetle. I don't know what a plated beetle will do, but we'll see.
Who are we hitting today?
Job's done.
It's still random attacks at the end. So it does seem in part your just best bet is to have as many people on the field, because that increases the odds of you not getting attacked, your hero not getting attacked.
The battle.
So night and day comparison here. In 4 turns, 3 turns, I get an easy victory, didn't take a single bit of damage, whereas the first time I ran it, I died miserably on the first boss. I will say once you get to this point, that you only have like 2 clicks that could easily have been combined into one page. So Elixir of Vigor, after you play a minion, shuffle 2 copies into your deck. They cost 1 mana. That's probably not terrible because we probably wouldn't be in a bad position to play more minions and have more minions. After you play a legendary minion, summon 2 copies. I may have a very limited amount of legendary minions, so this is not a good treasure to use at the beginning. And then your minions that cost 5 or more cost 5. Playing a mostly Murloc deck, that's not going to happen. So this is my choice is really made for me.
Strategy. Paladin by trade, shaman by nature.
So yeah, this decision could have been at the bottom where the treasure decision could be at the top. That also would add more strategy because then you would know what your 3 cards potentially were going to be based on the item you have, whereas the way they depict this right now, it's completely blacked out, so you have to randomly, without that extra future bit of information, pick a hero treasure. Then you have to pick 3 cards out of a set of 3. But even if you were to put everything on the screen and you did want it to play that way for strategy reasons or gameplay reasons, you would then just kind of black out the options until you like click the box to say I picked this and I've locked in that choice. Restore 3 health to the heroes may be useful, but I don't think so. 2 8 mana minions so early in the game doesn't make a lot of sense. I think I take these taunt minions. Beef up our top tier minions because we're going to mostly have Murlocs. And now we're taking on a 15 health version of the minion that defeated us before. And I heavily suspect we won't even have a problem with it because it was just such a random outcome. Which...
Pardon me. I have questions about the water.
Yeah. And that's the main problem. I can nitpick about user interface all day and all night on Hearthstone, but the main problem with the solo expansion is the fact that we don't just start every run with a Hearthstone, and we don't just have the ability to infinitely retry, or at least retry once in every run. So, of the many times I've done a solo adventure experience, many times I've ended a solo experience unhappy because some BS random occurrence of events has happened that made me lose when it really shouldn't have. At least when I'm playing against other players, it's very rarely a case that some random BS thing happened, and even if something slightly random does happen, you kind of know that that is because a player has set up their deck to play that way. So if there, for example, was a card that said flip a coin, if the coin is heads you win, if it's tails you lose the game, I would know that some other player chose to play that card, and that'd be a little frustrating. Frankly, even if I was going to play a card like that, I would probably want to play it, make a card where it could only be played on the first turn, flip a coin, and perhaps you don't do 50-50 odds, perhaps it's roll a die. If you roll a 1 or 3, you lose. If you roll a 2, you win. So that it's slightly punishing to play that card. If there was some kind of card like that in Hearthstone, that would be amazing, because frankly, a lot of times you have these daily quests, and all I want to see on the daily quest is just to get a victory. Like, I don't really want to play the game, I just want to get a cheap victory. And you'll see that a lot when you play ranked, where people either get frustrated and quit or concede really quickly. And often when I'm playing off screen, I'll just say forget it. I'll just leave the game running and hope that somebody gets frustrated and gives me a cheap victory that I don't really deserve. See? As predicted, no struggle at all with that hero. So it really wasn't the strategy they were playing. I don't even know what the hero ability was that they had. It was like increasing health, and that was it. We could get some Divine Shield minions in here. Or, let's see, double the number of cards, which wouldn't be a terrible thought. Draw 8 cards, which is a kind of terrible thought. Recruit 3 minions. I don't think I'm gonna have enough cards to justify, like, doubling the number of cards is interesting, but then drawing 8 cards and then recruiting 3 minions, which is effectively drawing 3 cards, isn't where it should be. Let's take some healing. That was a problem in the last run for the first chapter. I had like no healing cards whatsoever, and had I been able to heal myself at any point during the final boss battle, I would have probably won. Alright, so next we have a hero power. Double your hero's attack this turn for 2 mana. Okay. He has 20 health, so it probably won't be too bad. On the other hand, like, if he can play a couple spells that give him an attack of 7 or 8 and double it, then he might win on 1 hit. Let's re-roll all of these cards. Yeah, I have 25 health, so yeah, if he had 13 attack 1 turn. Can't do anything the first turn. That stinks, particularly for a Murloc deck. Whatever. We'll figure it out. Ooh, the thing here too is if he gets his attack, let's say at 5 and then it doubles to 10, and then he attacks twice because he attacks at the end of a turn, that could also make me immediately lose. So I'll have to be careful about that also. Although I don't know what I could really do about that. See, this is gonna just be a tit for tat, and I think that's gonna be the case for a lot of these battles, is it's just gonna be tit for tat because of the random attacking at the end of the turn. Seems like this occurs after the random attack occurs, and there really isn't a reason why that is. Like, the rules or the order of operations aren't well explained and seem to be kind of random. So a effect due to an adventure card, passive effects happening at the end of the turn, you could put more strategy in the game, certainly if you allowed the player themselves to say, this is the time, this is the order I'd like these cards to play in. But then that probably would open up the door to a lot more micromanaging than is actually necessary. Whereas I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! In particular, being a real-world card game, they had a whole, this is the main phase, this is how this is going to happen in this main phase, this is how things are going to resolve in this order in the main phase. At least it felt like that was the case in some of the video game versions of Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe it never really solidified into anything. It would make more sense if they said, look, cards resolve from left to right, but often they don't in Hearthstone. They often resolve in the order that they were played, or in just some random order. And heck, even if they just said cards resolve their effects in random order, that would be something. But then again, what I'm complaining about is really low level stuff too, that the random person just playing cards would not really think about or know. Give all minions in your deck +2 attack, death rattle, return this to your hand. Destroy a minion, gain double its attack and health. Interesting. Deal damage, also deal 10 damage to the Plague Lord when you fight it. Well, this is kind of like a single-use card, I would say. Wait, no it isn't, because I think every time I play this, let's take this because this is crazy. Either this means it will only do 10 damage to the Plague Lord when you fight it, or you might be in a scenario where if you played this enough and your Plague Lord already was weak in its health, he might be at a 0 or a negative when you start the game. If every time I play this does 10 more damage. Let's see. Where do we want to go with our next option? Frankly, I wouldn't be upset if we just had more Murlocs. So we could take deal 8 damage randomly split, and then discover spell and deal 4 to 5 damage to all minions. Or we could draw a minion and swap their health, swap their cost. We could play this, which restores 8 health to a damaged character. I think I'm gonna take this because I'm not sure that those legendary cards would be easy to activate.
A friendly place to mingle and adjust my minions.
So we've got our first Bizarre Bob. It seems like it's always going to be Bizarre Bob in this expansion.
I say, that's a pop-up.
It'll be funny when
Hey,
somebody
Finley,
complains
just
about
got that
this.
tea you asked for. On the house.
Like this depiction of Middle Easterners somehow is going to be offensive to somebody, I'm sure. Add all enemy minions to adventure deck. They cost 1 mana. They cost 1 less. It's probably what I want.
Well, this technically isn't really a bazaar. I just like the name.
Yeah, I think a bazaar, if I'm not mistaken, is actually a collection of shops. Choose a new starting hero power. I don't think I could do that, so I think playing this right now would be a mistake. And even if I could choose a new hero starting power, this one's fine. Discover a minion, replace enemy minions with minions of that type. Interesting. Add 3 copies of a
What
minion.
exactly is going on in this desert?
Choose a friendly minion, discover a minion to replace it in your deck. Right. So
Someday
I'm
we'll
gonna
go
play
back to
this,
Dalaran.
and then I'm going to replace something else. Let's replace that. What? Apparently that was nothing that I just did. Okay, that was not what I thought that was gonna do. Choose a friendly minion, discover a minion to replace it in your adventure deck.
I shouldn't have helped those folks.
Oh man, I just got rid of that card. That is not what I wanted.
Crowd 4 is practically an army.
Let's see what this does. Oh, I could have played this so much better in retrospect. Could have played that so much better. Well, whatever.
Take care. It was good seeing you.
Forward ho. We gotta see how this is gonna go. I wouldn't be surprised if I do fail it, like challenge 5, 6, or 7. I think at that point I'd probably just call it. I'm not really guaranteeing victories on these chapters because I kind of don't care about them enough. I'm not even 100% sure that I would get them all done. So we can look here and see I did lose that Murloc that was super useful. And this is going to have a hero power of add 2 treants into your hand, 2/2/2 treants. And he has 30 health and I have 30 health. So we're on equal footing, which is not the footing I'd prefer to have.
Sir Finley versus a suspicious palm tree.
Stand aside, fiend. It is time to save the world.
There's something weird about the way this character is animated. I guess he's supposed to be like a male paladin elf. I think visually though, it looks weird. Like, if you look at it, looks like he's maybe a robot that doesn't have anything connecting his abdomen to his hips, or maybe that's just being animated awkwardly. And then his beard is kind of brown where his hair is black, and like his eyebrows are, I think, brown too. So it's just a lot of bright yellow. So visually, every time I see this card, which looks like he's a new card, or I haven't noticed it before, it's grabbing my attention more than it should. A lot of this art is I could take or leave. Let's go ahead and play that.
That one?
Let's do that.
Your worst fears realized.
So now that we have that special treasure card that does 10 damage and does 10 damage to the flame character, to the Plague Lord, I want to make sure to play that every boss battle if I can. So we may slow down play here and just take our time. If I can, which might be a big if. Yeah, it is going to be kind of a big if because I'm shuffling in more cards.
That one?
But for time's sake, I guess I can't really play that strategy, even though I should. Because it's going to randomly attack. This. Yeah, every card I play puts in more cards, so the odds of me the odds of me accomplishing anything go down. So I guess we'll go one more turn and then we'll just win. We'll give it one more try, and that's kind of all I think I can do. The odds are 1 out of 26 that I'd have that one card that I want gone. I could heal the guy, I suppose. I don't think that's the smartest move. But I can't really cast any spells or play any cards. So that special card, where is it? Did I not even pick that card? It's a 2-minute, here it is. Like, you kind of needed this at the very beginning. That needed to be a reward on the first tier for you to get the vast majority of your use out of it. Unless there's something here I could play that would cause me to draw more magic cards. Next we have a 40 mana minion. Let's see, hero power, give your opponent an illusion card. If played, they discard a random card. Why would I play an illusion card then? Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Does that mean I have to just memorize what's in my hand every turn? That's not super difficult.
My giggles are tingling. Something is not quite right.
So I'm just gonna re-roll this. And yeah, they're trying to go for a desert Egypt kind of theme here with the enemies, and they're doing an alright job of that, but not what I'd call an amazing job.
Job done.
So here's the 4 cards I have. Okay. So I don't play those cards. Alright. I see.
Job done.
See how this is gonna work. Interesting, that's probably the only example you'll ever see of a 0 attack minion attacking. He only does it for 1 card, so you can work your way around this pretty easily. Yeah. Deal 4 damage to a minion. Restore 4 health. Guess I could do that. Do I want to use a attack to kill this guy? It's probably not a bad idea. So let's play this. See how this works. Okay, it worked. So that was the illusion card. I kind of wish that hadn't worked. Would have been more interesting to see how that worked. What would have happened. I assume what would have happened is that the other card would have just disappeared. Or just a random card that gets discarded. It says a random card gets discarded, which seems different from the way it's depicted. And of course, since this is a 0 mana hero ability, he's gonna do it every turn. Spells you cast on your minions. I don't know if there are any spells I will be casting on my minions.
Who are we hitting today?
I protect.
Might have to gamble again on this.
My life is your sin.
Now I've got 2 of these guys on the field. So we do this. We could summon some more random murlocs.
I protect. I protect.
That one? Okay.
Again, I think it's just better to be safe instead of sorry and just win instead of try to dig through the remaining 30 cards for that one Goblinator card.
Life is an afterthought.
Deal 4 to 5 damage to all minions. Don't really see reason to do that. Store 7 health. I don't really see reason to do that. Is there a reason to do anything? Let's just play this, do this, and do this. Play incredibly cautiously. Can we do any less damage? No. Again, just take the victory. Let's just see if we can win. Yeah, we may be setting ourselves up for frustration later, but we'll see how it plays out. I don't even have a lot of spells, so spells costing 1 less is not that useful, so it really would come down to give your minions +1/+1 health and taunt, which I think would be really nice, or give them +1/+1. I feel like in the run for the first chapter, +1 health and taunt was super useful. It allowed me to drag the game out against the Plague Lord pretty long. Let's see. Taunt. Let's see. This one has a board clear, so I think that's where we're better suited. Just stick to mutual destruction. Bizarre Bob number 2. The Watering Hole.
Time for a spot of tea with friends.
Well, hello there. Happy to help you in these trying times.
So I can remove all cards from my adventure deck that costs 2 or less. That'd be terrible. Discover a legendary minion, add it to my deck. That might be good. Look at full spells from my adventure deck and remove one. Not really useful. Remove a friendly minion from my deck and give adjacent minions. Like I could remove this and give the 2 +2/+2. Or let's start with an adventure. Which enemy do I want? Taunt, draw cards until you draw one that isn't a dragon. That would not be something that would be useful. So take this, put that on our side. And then it comes down to, do I want to remove spell damage +5, which is probably not that useful to give this and this +2/+2. Or do I want to discover legendary? If I discover legendary and add it to my deck, that's all I can do. I'm just going to have an extra gold piece. And do I want to remove any spells from my deck? Here's the thing is, honestly, I'd like to get rid of this and give this +2/+2. But that's not going to work. So it really would have to be either this or this, and I think I'll just discover legendary.
You sure know how to pick 'em.
Let's just take Kel'Thuzul. He's a great card for any deck. And is there possibly a spell that I could remove? I think there probably is. Yeah, that sucks. this is better than this, so. But this deals damage. So that was a mistake, clearly.
Careful out there.
I'm not playing very well, in my opinion. And it probably won't matter one bit until we get to the final boss. By the way, the loading screen said sand shark, and now we're about to fight a sand shark. So he has a 0 mana ability, Maw of the Desert, destroy the minion with the lowest health. That's not going to work well with my deck. Because one of the minions that has the lowest health also potentially has the highest attack.
Oh my, that sand has quite fouled your friend.
Again, I'm just going to re-roll everything. Well, starting with a high number of mana cost cards. Well, at this rate, I can't play till the 5th turn, which means I guess his ability is not gonna be too useful. Of course, the problem there is there's another zero attack. This would die and death rattle into a much better character, so yeah. Kinda didn't want that to happen. Cost 1 less for each totem you've summoned this game. Is this a totem? I guess it is. Alright, well, then this will get cheaper each turn. There we go. Do I really need to play this turn, or should I play this a different turn? So it costs 1 less if I do this, so this would use 2, and then that would not mean I can't play this, so.
I say.
Let's do this and hope that works.
Your worst fears realized.
This guy seems to just say some random things every now and then. He may run out of cards, so might be in a good position in a second. And even these that are summoned are getting taunt and +1 health, which is nice. Of course, then they also seem to be capable of attacking around taunt. This would deal 1 damage to all minions. I'm gonna play this. See how this works. Unfortunately, I can play this. Hope that works.
Safety restrictions online.
Or I'm in a dangerous position here. I'm gonna gamble it a little bit.
This guy
document looks legally binding.
Okay. If I did this and did this, why is this a 1 mana card, I wonder? I'm gonna play this first because I don't know why that's 1 mana. And then I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna end the turn. He kills his own guy. I'm still very concerned though with being at 13 health. I could really use one of my heal spells.
Minions, servants, soldiers of the cold dark, obey the call. Overdrive, engage.
So this comes back at the end of each turn, so...
I can wait and fish all day.
Yeah, taunt is not saving me. So... let's... be careful here. And... do as much as possible.
My life is your shield.
This would summon 3 1/1 Murlocs, which would probably not be a problem. Let's see, we have 8, 16, 25 right now, but I want to be a little cautious, so I'm gonna do this. Hit that, and hit that, and then end the turn.
You were right to worry.
Yeah, I am worried, and he's saying, yeah, you're right to worry. I think we're good. So, this arena treasure chest, death rattle, draw 2 cards. Yeah, this is not a card that you normally can play. So 14 plus this would then become 18. So we've got our victory. All I have to do is just attack. And I will just win. That 8 health does not put us in a great position for the next boss battle, for sure. So what can we do to potentially... Here's a couple of healing cards. I think that might be worth it. This wouldn't be a terrible card either, but it's so late game. I'm gonna take healing. Yeah, and if we get past Jolene Notley, let's see. Copy a spell in your opponent's hand. It costs 2 less. Is there hero ability? I don't know why Jolene Notley here with 60 health would be one of the bosses. I guess maybe this is some kind of reference to her being crazy and writing a book. But I don't get the reference. I don't know if it's a World of Warcraft reference or more likely it's some kind of famous story. But you can see there's like a demon controlling her thoughts.
Stand aside, fiend. It is time to save the world.
I've got a story for you. No, about you.
let's do this.
Who are we hitting today?
I don't think I'll have too many spells anyways. Evil Recruiter, destroy friendly lackey to summon a 5/5 demon. Is that a card? I don't even know if that's a card you can play. Looks new to me.
No, don't. It's still good.
Discard the highness card. Death Rattle, add
This
2
little
copies.
gnome burned your cards.
So I wonder if the strategy that she's gonna play is to try and destroy my deck.
I'll
Might be the
bookmark
idea.
this for later.
Your worst fears realized.
Right, I'm not ready to use that, I don't think. So let's just play this in the game.
Death is just the beginning.
This isn't going well.
My life is your shield.
My brood will survive. Unfortunate souls.
Why do you go?
Kind of hoping it will fill up the field, and then I'll be able to do this. Yeah. I hope this is right. I hope this is the right move. So, kill everything on this field and lock 5 mana crystals.
Oh, this chapter is particularly captivating.
My brood will survive.
That may not have been the right move.
Death is just the beginning.
I like what
I'm
happens
moving
next.
kind of fast here, so we might be able to fatigue them if we could survive long enough.
Important job, get special bomb. My brood will survive.
How will you ever get out of this?
Unfortunate souls.
This thing just seems like it wants to constantly swap things. Hopefully that saves the day. We'll see if we can play this next turn and to heal ourselves.
Double time and double pay.
Just one more page.
Spoil the ending, copy a spell from your opponent's hand. It's the same thing. Right. So let's play this to be safe. And then we want the most expensive spell card. And then I really don't want to give anything lifesteal right now, so we'll just stick with this. If I can get a big ticket hitter, heavy hitter like this, and give it lifesteal, then that might work. Alright, so this, and then lifesteal on this, and then don't play this. That way we know this attacks. Because something's gotta attack.
I could use a bit more ink for my pen. This should do.
15 cards to 39 cards. Let's see. Copy random Murloc, summon 7 Murlocs 10 that died this game. Right. Just gonna have to do this. And then this.
Job's done.
And then the turn. We've got somewhat control of the board. At least we did.
It's just the beginning. It's still good.
Oh, we did have control of the board. Alright, well, play this, and this, and this. Guess I could play this since it's already there.
Job's done.
That way, in case this kills this, it still stays alive.
You were right to worry.
Unfortunate souls.
Man, this is a breakneck pace at which we're playing, and I don't know if that's because I have sped up my gameplay mechanics or what.
Engaged.
There we go. 10, lifesteal, and divine shield. So he can change my health to 1 all he wants. I still have divine shield. I think we've got this. And I think I kind of want to just hold on to what I've got. So, if I play a minion here, then there's a 50% chance this doesn't attack. I would prefer this to attack and have a 50% chance of hitting the face.
The road to insanity is seldom smooth.
He's almost out of cards in his hand, at least. Or she's almost out of cards. Alright. Don't really need to discover a spell. And there really wouldn't be a big difference between this attacking and this attacking, so we'll play them both. I could still lose here. This is definitely, there's never a time in Hearthstone to get cocky. Like, I could still very much lose. This. I think I kind of have to play this right now. Then, sure, take this, draw, restore 8 health and draw 3 cards. That sounds like that will be very useful next turn. 10 cards to 49 cards. Of course, I'll just constantly grow more cards. I'll never run out. going to restore 8 health and draw more cards. 3 damage to all minions, deal 3 damage. Or this. The file didn't work for him. He played out of order. If he'd played Mortal Coil before Defile, I guess she wanted to draw a card, but why she wants to draw a card, I don't know. Unless she has the Mechathune, which I doubt she does, she's going to lose. I don't think her programming is designed to comprehend that. So we may just get a victory by default in this. 3 more cards. Fatigue will potentially solve that problem. The only... Oh, that's a problem. Because if she has this 2 mana card that she can keep putting in her deck, she may have a constant source of more cards. So it's important to get rid of this card. Attack here. I think we're still in a pretty good position. Like every turn she'll just play that and put 2 cards in her hand. But it's not going to really help her.
Who are we hitting today?
We've got it. So I think we could kind of goof around here and just end the turn and we'll just see what happens. Even if she did have Mechathune, she doesn't have a card that would do anything. So, yeah. Nothing there. So we can just end the turn. But we're looking for the 2 mana spell that does 10 damage and causes causes 10 damage to the Plague character, the Plague Lord. Interestingly, I guess you could just play forever.
Fortunate souls.
And she's just stolen a spell from me. It's not gonna do anything to me though. Yep, I've won. Whether I wanted to or not. I suppose if I had gotten some kind of spell that changed the game around, that might have been a potential place where I could have accidentally lost. So, this Gnome Obliterator, deal 10 damage, also deal 10 damage to the Plague Lord when you fight it. We'll have no idea to know if this spell would have been more useful if we had gotten it earlier and used it a lot more. After your hero attacks and kills a minion, this gains +2/+1. Interesting. Choose a minion, fill your boards with copies of it. Summon 7 Murlocs and give them rush. At the start of your next turn, do it again. Interesting. That would save me a couple turns late game. Or I could fill a minion with something, like 1/1 copies of something or other, which there is a strategy there. If I had 1/1 copies of like this minion, that'd be interesting. Or I could just have a weapon that would not be super useful, frankly, because I could kill a bunch of minions with it and hurt myself and get more durability because of that, but only the first, maybe the second blow would actually be able to be used against the Plague Lord. So even if I got it up to 50, and how I would get it up to even 50, I don't know, that'd be a problem. Fill your board with 1/1 copies of Kel'Thuzad would be interesting, to say the least, but I don't think that useful. I'm gonna go with that. And a way to destroy some more minions might be useful. So I'm gonna take Mutual Destruction again. Second plague is in the brain among the Dunes Madness Reigns. So this is a hero power. It's starting off with a hero power. If it's anything like the Plague Lord in Chapter 1, they're going to have 3 plague hero powers that switch over at 100 health. Starts off with rotate all minions counterclockwise. Minions that switch sides gain +1/+1. Okay, that'll be interesting. That'll definitely be interesting.
Sir Finley versus the Plague Lord of Madness.
I don't know how you can really play strategy towards that, but we'll see.
I shall not succumb to your madness. I do worry about Reno, however.
Release your will. Succumb to the madness.
At the start of your turn, destroy all minions. So if I played this,
Gods! Look at the size of that thing. How can we beat this?
well, I can't do anything this turn. So if this moved to the other side, then Doomsayer would stay alive. Interesting. So just for an experiment, let's do this. He's gonna use his systematic betrayal. Right? You're gonna use this? Yeah.
Nightmare twists and turns.
And give him stealth and then attack. So I guess now Doomsayer did 1 damage to me for no reason, and now when he starts his turn it will just die. Kill everybody.
Welcome to your new reality.
So yeah, that didn't really change the scenario much.
Yes.
He's hurting himself more than me. His mutual destruction versus my mutual destruction might turn this into a weird combination of events. And frankly, my madness might not work too well with the madness of this character. What do we want to do? Kind of beef up our guy? And then I guess if I kill this, he's increasing Kelsey's odd. I mean Cthulhu. Uh-oh. If he's got Cthulhu, this will be the first time I've seen Cthulhu actually played in a while too. Like since it first came out actually. So do I want another thing on the field, or do I want to just have something cycle over that's a 1/4 instead of a 2/2? Well, I definitely don't want that going the other direction. Right, so we'll do this, and we'll do that.
Reporting for duty.
And what can we do otherwise? Kinda don't want this guy to die. I'd like to play this. I think it might be useful. Would probably be a bad move.
You were right to worry.
It's ridiculous to have this this character cycle through the same bits of information he said before. He needed more lines of dialogue, or just not have him show up and whisper in the ear of the characters to start with. This out and take this out. Attack here. I should just play this now. Attack here, attack here, and do this. Yep, I killed everything except for that. Oh, it was minions. Oh, that was a terrible decision. That was a terrible decision. I did not read the card correctly. I thought it was going to do 20 damage amongst all enemies or all people. I'm fully willing to believe that I'm not going to win this. Let's just go ahead and play that.
I have no time for games.
Do you hear its call?
Yeah, I kind of don't have anything here. My only thought is maybe he runs out of cards. But I don't know how that works. 4, 8, 2. This. This. If he runs out of cards and I can just consistently fatigue him and he can't do enough damage, which it'll be weird, I need this hero ability to change basically. I need it to change to something else.
Listen close
But even if he had something that could put Cthulhu on the field and then remove Cthulhu from the field, let's see. This, and this. Yeah, I think I may have lost here. Yeah, I need a major heal card right now, and I can't get it. So, just see what this does.
Do you hear its call? I ain't talking. Who are we hitting today? Listen closely.
Yeah, I think I might be doomed here. Let's see. Highest attack monster. Well, I don't think it matters which way this goes. Card-wise, I'm fine. I have 41 cards in my deck. He has 11. But at 18 health, unless I get rather lucky and can get the card that restores things, this isn't gonna work. Why is it stopping? Because it's like calculating a change in the hero ability, I think. We're barely even gonna do like 30 damage on this guy.
How quickly they turn.
Interesting. I could kill this guy. I'm not sure that I need to. So we'll just hit that and see what happens. Cards remaining. He's gonna be right at the bottom, unless he actually does not have Cthulhu in his deck, and he just plays a bunch of Cthulhu cards out of silliness. Alright. If I play this, I can't play this. So, gotta kind of hope that this works.
Important job, get special bomb.
Job's done.
Down to 4 health. Eight cards.
Important job, get
Ooh, freezing trap's not going to be great. So, I'm interested in seeing how the hero ability would work. Of course, we're not going to see it here. Like, I'd be very interesting to see if, had I gotten that down to 200 health, would his rotating hero ability just be something I don't have to deal with ever again.
I shall have to begin again.
That's not too bad, though. This wasn't a terrible run. I don't think I'm gonna spend any extra effort to do this off screen or anything like that. So again, I'll just kind of tease and say subscribe to my channel. Almost certainly during the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live streams, we'll get a daily quest that says come back and do more of this. And when we get those daily quests, I will then spend the effort to actually come back and try it again. The good thing about this solo adventure is because the health goes down lower and lower, you will eventually win even if you are just terrible at Hearthstone, as long as you can make it to the 8th boss, which frankly is a struggle half the time anyways. But there's also, I guess, a bit of a question: who do you fight after the first Plague Lord has been defeated? Do you then just get a new Plague Lord with the 300 health again? Probably. So what did we accomplish? We summoned 51 health minions, which allows us to discover a Shaman or Paladin minion with Battle Cry. That hero ability clearly would have been helpful in that last battle. So we'll be in a better position that way. We defeated 5 bosses, so now we could have this adventure reward, which Rush and Reborn has 2 attack for each other minion on the battlefield. That wouldn't have been too bad either in the final battle. It's a shame we never got to use Gnome Obliterator, though. This card in particular might be very useful. Like, if you played this several times in a run, if you played it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, and you did 70 damage by the time you were here, which I guess you'd actually do 80 damage, you could almost remove 100 health on a Plague Lord if you had some way of finding that magic card. So when playing a run like this, you might also want to look for cards that say find or find a spell, discover a spell even. So we got 3 rewards, and as such, next week
tomb, according to my
is
research,
going to be on Tuesday.
Treasure!
Death, Reno. It houses the plague of death. We have to be careful.
And I suppose what we could do here is, do I want to open 22 card packs right now, or do I want to save this for the next expansion? I think I'm going to save the card packs for the next expansion, because even if I open them all right now, I'll have 3, maybe 9 extra card packs just on my Americas account. So whenever the next expansion comes, which I assume would be some point in like February, if I was to guess, we probably aren't getting another one for 2019. Whenever that next expansion comes, I will then open these card packs. That does potentially limit the number of cards I have. There might be some cards that I could get, but yeah, I'm not really too worried about it. I have a decent collection of the Saviors of Uldum cards, and there really wasn't a card that comes to mind that I really wanted. So I'm thinking we'll just have bigger, longer card pack opening videos in the next expansion. Well, that's going to be it for this recording and this stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.